Okay, this is Larry. We're going to we'll do like an equipment overview, and then we'll get on with it. I'm probably going to be talking to more than one type of hobbyist, so just bear with me for you guys that are a little bit farther along. I just I want to just go over the thing for everybody, sort of. That's the boiler, pretty classic 15.5 gallon beer keg. Got a 4,500 watt element. Pretty safe. Tight cover. Don't want anybody getting barbecued. Number 8. Power cord, twist and lock, plug ends. The controller is one of the mule kickers. It's pretty nice. I like it. Works really, really good. Pretty accurate. So that's the beer keg. Alright, so that's the thumper. First piece. This is an 8, 10 maybe quart stock pot. It's probably about a $100 stock pot in the store. I stole it from my wife, and she's real nice. She's not too happy about it. There's a 2-inch inlet, and it gets covered with this 3x3 square tubing. It's got a cap welded on it, and 1/2-inch holes drilled at the base of it, and it's heavy, so it just rests right over top of the inlet tube, and it doesn't go anywhere because A, it's heavy, there's not enough pressure in the system, and when the thumper cap goes on top, there's not a whole lot of room from the top of this to the underside of the thumper cap, so it just doesn't go anywhere. This is the liquid level drain outlet. This particular piece holds, I thought for the longest time that it held about 3 liters, but I filled it up the other day, and lo and behold, it holds 7 liters of liquid, and or it has the capacity to hold 7 liters, and at any given point it doesn't really hold that much. It depends how it's being run. If I'm running this thing like a plain Jane thumper, you know how you just basically charge your thumper to the base or to the top of the outlet holes on the bubble cap, just enough to get some condensing, so you get some phase change. When I finish the run, it stays pretty dry. There's not that much liquid in it. But when I'm introducing forced reflux, especially when I'm trying to make clean liquor, the liquid volume does fill up. That's the whole point, is to get the thing to actually fill up, to load it, if you will. So anyway, that's the inside of the thing. So I've got an overflow drain on this thing because the actual pot itself is not that big. And let me come around this side so the light's not too glary. Is that any better? I don't know if it's better. So 1/2-inch copper overflow, and so I found out early on, before I installed this thing, the drain, I found early on that when I started using the deflegmator that I could flood it pretty easily, so clearly it needed a drain. And so there's a trap in the bottom of the drain, and that thing needs to be primed before your run. I usually forget, so I usually just stroke it down with some ice, get the vapor to condense. It's trying to bypass the bubble cap, get it to condense, and fill this thing with water by virtue of just condensing the vapor that's in it. And it condenses down pretty quickly, and you could tell right away when the vapor stops rising, because this section here cools off pretty quickly. So that's the first piece. Got a 2-inch female by female threaded coupler here. It's pretty stout. Nothing on this is from this point up, nothing moves up here. It's rock solid. I get a little bit of flex in the lid, but it's still pretty doggone strong. I mean, when the entire apparatus is assembled, it's got a little wobble to it, but you know, like I said, I've been running this thing for a year now with, you know, with no issues. So, you know, hopefully I won't. I don't know. Now, I will say that, you know, when you guys see this rig completely assembled, it's tall. You know, it's as tall as any VM, and that might, you know, make you ask the question, well, why don't you just run a VM? Well, I didn't intend on building this thing the way it ended up, you know, working out for me. So I didn't plan on some of the height issues, you know. So the distance from here, or more specifically, the distance from here to here, you know, there's a lot of wasted space there. So, you know, if I'd had enough foresight, you know, I'd have probably ended up building things a little bit differently. So, but anyway, all right. So let's take a look at the cap for the thumper. I thought this was 1/4 inch, but it's actually 3/16 plate. It's stainless plate, and it fits. It's been cut to fit perfectly. My buddy's got a one of them laser cutter jobber things, and he cut this thing perfectly for me to fit right inside. And so, you know, that's the lip, you know, the factory lip that came with the pot. So with a little bit of, you know, flour paste, it seals up really, really well. And it's got 4 tabs on it. I welded 4 tabs on it, and I got 4 corresponding tabs underneath here with, you know, nuts welded on, and it threads down on with threaded rod, and the wing nuts go on here, you know, on all 4 sides. Now, there's 4 tabs on it, and I probably would have been better off putting 6 or 8 tabs on it, and I'm pretty sure I could have got away with a no paste seal. But, you know, I felt like the lid was like a tank or something, you know, so it seemed like, at the time anyway, that 4 tabs would have gotten the job done. But as a result, there's like 2 little teeny tiny pinhole leaks. So anyway, it seals up real quick with flour paste and does a real good job. Previously, I had an 1.5 inch similar. This is a 2-inch adapter that I can put this on the keg, but I had an 1.5 inch piece that was on here, you know, mounted similar to that. But I was, you know, doing some thumper runs, you know, making rum. Well, I always make rum, but just doing some different runs, and for, you know, various reasons, I just felt that this larger piece on the cap was gonna, you know, help me get the job done a little bit better. So this is an 1.5 inch union. I got unions on everything. There's kind of a lot of weight hanging off the rig, so I just want to make sure that you know, I got plenty of strength, so when I tighten all this stuff down, you know, I just didn't think tri-clamps were going to get the job done. So anyway, that's the rig, the lower half of the rig. And just a brief comment. So, you know, one of the first things you learn, one of the first things that you guys taught me was that you can't control the temperature of your boiler. You know, your temps are going to be predicated on the boiler charge, the percent of alcohol in the boiler. And so that's the theme, okay, for this whole still. And I want you guys to just sort of remember that. It's real basic. I know it's kind of boring or whatever for some of you other guys, but okay, that's the basic theme, and I just want you to remember that. And so if you consider that this is a boiler, and you're not going to be able to dictate the temperature within the boiler, the alcohol does that. The same holds true for this, okay, because this is a parasitic boiler, okay? So just remember, as we progress with this whole demonstration, presentation thing, that's sort of the theme, okay? and I'm going to discuss this a little bit further when we get to the next segment, which is I'm going to mount the other piece, to the top of this thumper here, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit more in depth when we go over that piece of equipment. So anyway, any questions? Good. So this is Larry, over and out. See you on the next installment.